you know, you do songs for a long time, and sometimes there are these little events or little happenings that attach themselves to the song. And I oftentimes harken back to this time when my son was in high school, and he was home one day, and I was passing by his bedroom, and the door was open, and he was sitting there with his back to me playing something that he'd written on this keyboard. And it was like this slow, really pretty melody, really lyrical little piece of music. And he was kind of swaying back and forth, you know, and I didn't say anything, I just stopped to listen to him play. You know, it was like one of these poignant moments. And then he did this teenage thing, and he got the sense that somebody was watching. I'll never forget. Turns around, looks me in the face and goes, "What?" I was like, "What are you saying, you know? Why? I just stopped by to pick up the rent, which starts today." Well, this is a brand new song, and I mentioned earlier that I'm not somebody you would hire to play keyboards. So some songs get written on the keyboards, but I've been writing some on the keyboards recently, and some songs get written and they travel to the guitar just fine, like Old Dogs and Child of Mine. They were both written on keyboards and they travel to the guitar. And some songs don't, and they get written and recorded, and then I never do them in concert. So I've only done this once on the guitar before, and I don't know the words, so this should be pretty good, huh? Well, back in the late 70s, early 80s, I used to read a lot of Thomas Wolfe and Jack Kerouac. And so this is kind of a cross between Kerouac, Wolfe, and Staines, if you can picture that. I knew a time when we danced with dreams and we looked for love in the quiet streets, and the crazy world just passed us by with a wistful ray. It was on the fly. We were a different breed. We knew the dark most. We caught the endless trains out towards the setting sun. And when the morning came and lifted up the sky, we found a fiery flame. We thought we'd never die. We did the drunkard's dance. We played the poet's hymn. We searched for answers then, and found them deep within. And all our words were wild, and all our stories young. We were the restless child, adrift beneath the sun. We were a different breed. We knew the dark most. We caught the endless train out towards the setting sun. And when the morning came, found a fire flame, thought we'd never die. And now the summer turns to fall. Sometimes I drift away, and I hear the call of time and time's gone by. The fond and fairest friends, they still before me fly. And I remember when we were a different breed. We knew the dark most. We caught the endless trains out towards the setting sun. And when the morning came and we lifted up the sky, we found a fiery flame, thought we'd never die. We were a different breed. We knew the dark most. Caught the endless trains out towards the setting sun. And when the morning came and lifted up the sky, we found a fiery flame, thought we'd never die. Well, we're getting mellow here this afternoon. That's all right. You know, people say a lot of things to me, but people say two things that are a little out of the ordinary, but they say the same two things over and over. The first one is, you know, when my kid has trouble going to sleep, I just put on one of your recordings and bang, they're out of life. And the other one is, you know, you really remind me of Burl Ives. Well, we're doing new songs. This is another new song, and this is actually newer than the last one. You know, I travel around the country and so forth, and I write a lot of songs about being on the road and the West. And I get back to New England, which is where I'm from, and people will say, "Why don't you ever write a song about New England?" I mean, I've written some songs about home, but why don't you write a song about fishing? Well, before I left for this last tour this past month, it was a warm day morning, and I took my little chair down to the ocean side and was sitting there doing the crossword puzzle, and I was engrossed in that. And I looked up, and there were all these fishing boats going out for the morning, and so I thought, I never did finish the crossword puzzle that day, but I did write this song in the margin of the crossword puzzle. So, I don't know the melody, so you're going to have to help me with it. But we'll make it through. It goes something like this. Dee, dee, dee. There's a sparkle out on the water, and there's a warm breeze from off the strand, and with a wave and a wish we will follow the fish far away from the harbor and land. Oh, my boat, she is neat and happy when she springs to the finest line. Oh, she's a sturdy old craft, from her fore to her aft. We were both younger when I made her mine. And now we're steering to open water, and we are dancing across the tides. And with my lines all set, I'll be casting my nets to the ocean so deep and wide. And with my lines all set, I'll be casting my nets to the ocean so deep and wide. Help me with melody. And if my luck, it sees me through, then I'll be striking again for shore. And if my hand and my netting's true, then I'll return to you once more. And so adieu, my own true lover, it is for you my heart has burned. But do not grieve for me on this cold gray sea, if I ever no more return. But do not grieve for me on this cold gray sea, if I ever no more return. For I'll be steering to open water, and I'll be dancing across the tide. And with my lines all set, I'll be casting my nets, St. Peter by my side. History time. Back in the early 1930s, Charles Lindbergh and Anne Morrow Lindbergh made a whole series of flights around the world in this airplane called the Tingmissartoq. Tingmissartoq is a Greenland Eskimo term for one that flies like a big bird. They landed in Greenland one time. This little Eskimo boy came out and painted Tingmissartoq along the engine column of the airplane. Of course, most people know the story of the Spirit of St. Louis, but not a whole lot of people know about these flights. They were pioneering these air routes for Pan Am, which was like this fledgling company at the time, portions of which are actually still flown today as part of the Great Circle routes. But one summer in 1931, they flew from Maine across Canada and Alaska through the Arctic, down through Siberia and across China. And in 1933, they flew from New York over to Scandinavia, down through Europe to the west coast of Africa to the Cape Verde Islands, back across the South Atlantic to South America and back up to New York again, which was actually a longer transatlantic flight than his original one. And it was just the two of them, which always amazed me. Anne was the radio operator and navigator. She just learned Morse code.